Hey everyone, you know how sometimes there's a date looming on the calendar that you
Yeah.
just can't ignore?
Yeah.
Well, if your world runs on Exchange Server 2016 or 2019, October 14th, 2025 is about to become very important.
All right.
We're talking about the end of support. And to help you navigate this, we're going straight to the source, Microsoft's latest announcement.
Yeah, Microsoft dropped a blog post just today, October 14th, 2024.
Okay.
That's 1 year to the day, laying out exactly what this end of support means.
1 year might seem like a while, but this is one of those things you really don't want to leave until the last minute. And since we're all about getting you ahead of the curve, let's unpack what this announcement actually means for you.
So for those running Exchange Server 2016 or 2019, end of support basically means no more safety net from Microsoft, no more tech support, no troubleshooting help,
Sounds like a DIY situation.
and no more security updates. And that's the real kicker here. Think of it like this. Imagine leaving your front door wide open after, there's been a string of break-ins in the neighborhood.
Not exactly the image of security you want. Okay, so let's hit pause for a second. Explain to me and everyone listening why no security updates should have us all a little concerned.
It's all about vulnerabilities. After October 2025, if someone discovers a weakness in Exchange Server 2016 or 2019, your system becomes an easy target. Think about those major data breaches you hear about. A lot of times they happen because of vulnerabilities and outdated software.
And suddenly that deadline feels a lot closer. So Microsoft has handed us this ticking time bomb. What do they suggest we do about it?
Well, they definitely have a favorite solution. And I bet you can guess what it is.
Well, let me guess.
Migrating to the cloud. Specifically, Exchange Online, which is part of Microsoft 365.
The cloud. Seems like that's the answer to everything these days.
Right.
But in this case, it does make sense.
It does. You make the move, and then Microsoft handles all the server stuff, the updates, the security patches, everything.
Right.
Plus, you get all the newest features in tech. That only come with Exchange Online.
Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. Those cloud features sound like a game changer. Give me some examples. What's got everyone so excited about Exchange Online?
One of the most talked about features is the integration of generative AI.
Okay.
Imagine your emails practically writing themselves, or your calendar juggling meetings like a pro. That's the power of generative AI in Exchange Online.
Wow. Sign me up. But let's be real. Not everyone is ready to make that jump to the cloud. What about the folks who want to stick with on-premise solutions? What are their options with this deadline approaching?
So for them, Microsoft's roadmap points to upgrading to Exchange Server Subscription Edition, or SE for short.
SE, that's the next generation of Exchange, right?
Exactly. But here's the catch. SE isn't expected until early in the second half of 2025, or early H2 2025, as they say in the tech world.
Early in the second half of 2025. That's cutting it pretty close to that October deadline, isn't it?
Very close. And this is where the strategy comes in. Your upgrade path really depends on which version of Exchange you're currently using.
All right, listeners, this is where you want to pay close attention. We're about to get tactical.
If you're already on Exchange 2019, you're in good shape. Stay up to date with your updates. And when SE arrives, you'll be able to do an in-place upgrade, a much smoother process.
In place sounds ideal. So people with 2019, you're golden. What about those still running 2016?
2016 is where things get a bit trickier. Microsoft recommends upgrading to 2019 now, getting settled, and then upgrading to SE when it's ready. It's a two-step process, but a much safer bet.
It definitely takes some pressure off that tight SE launch window.
Exactly. Technically, you could do a direct upgrade from 2016 to SE, bypassing 2019 entirely. But it's incredibly risky. You'd be looking at less than 4 months between the projected SE release and the 2016 end of support deadline. That's not a lot of time to plan and implement a big upgrade, especially for larger organizations.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
And this probably goes without saying. But if you're still somehow holding on to Exchange 2013 or earlier, let's just say it's time to face the music. You'll need to upgrade to a newer version before any of these options are even possible.
Let's face it, 2013 was a decade ago. Time to join us in the present. So we've got our upgrade paths laid out. Though some are definitely smoother than others, it still feels like Microsoft's throwing us in the deep end a bit, though. What kind of support are we actually looking at here?
Well, the good news is Microsoft is offering some help with all this. If you're considering that jump to Exchange Online and the cloud, they have this great thing called Microsoft Fast Track.
Fast Track. All right, that name is giving good vibes.
Yeah, it's essentially a helping hand. To make that cloud migration as painless as possible, you get paired up with a support engineer whose job it is to guide you through every step.
Okay, I'm hearing hand-holding, and I like it. What else does Fast Track offer?
So it's not just one person. Though that personalized support is awesome, you also get access to Microsoft's best practices, all the tools and resources you need to plan out your migration, right down to the last mailbox.
Okay, that's reassuring. What about those of us who are sticking with on-premise for now? Any support options for the on-premise track?
For the true tech enthusiasts, there's the Exchange Server Technology Adoption Program, or TEP.
Ooh, TA. That one has a certain ring to it.
Right.
This sounds exclusive.
It is. It's designed for those who want to be on the very cutting edge of technology. As a TAP member, you actually get to test pre-release builds of Exchange Server SE. You get to see what's coming down the pike before anyone else.
So you can smooth out any wrinkles before the official launch. That's brilliant.
And the access doesn't stop there. You get a direct line to the Exchange Server engineering team. Talk about insider access. Even if the TAD program isn't your thing, there's still a way to get a sneak peek. They've said that installing Exchange 2019 CU15, that's Cumulative Update 15, will be like a test drive of the SE code. This is a great option for testing the waters and getting comfortable with the new environment before it's officially released.
This is great information. We've got migration options, different upgrade paths, testing programs. It's a lot to take in, but at least there are options. But before we wrap up, there's one more layer here that I think is really important for everyone listening to understand.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It's not just Exchange we're talking about, is it?
You hit the nail on the head. October 14, 2025 is going to be a big day for end of support. And Exchange Server 21.6.2019 is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of tech is about to get kicked to the curb on the same day.
Right.
We're also talking about Office 21.6.2019. Outlook 21.6.2019, and even a bunch of Skype for business products.
Wow. It's like the entire year 2016 is about to become obsolete.
Yeah. The important takeaway here is that even if you're not directly impacted by the Exchange Server end of support, all this other stuff reaching the end of its life cycle at the same time, well, it's going to have a ripple effect.
Absolutely, especially when you think about how everything is connected, all those dependencies, integrations. It's a big web.
Right. So even if you're not running Exchange Server 2016 or 2019, consider this your wake-up call to assess your entire tech ecosystem. What's nearing its end of support date? What vulnerabilities might you be facing because of it?
Yeah, nobody wants to be caught flat-footed when things start to break down. Okay, listeners, I don't know about you, but my brain is officially full. If there's one key message you take away from this deep dive, it's that October 2025 deadline. It might seem far off, but it's closer than you think. Inaction is a choice, but it's a choice with some potentially big risks.
Very well said.
One last thought before we go. Microsoft's announcement is extremely specific to certain versions and dates. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does this actually mean for the future of on-premise Exchange?
That's the million-dollar question. That's one I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about in the coming month.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll leave you to do your own digging, figure out where you stand, and make the best decisions for your own tech future. Until next time.